Blackson, the first pick, big 5 technique type player. Could play some nose too. 6'5", 315, sub 5 flat 40. It just really got some nice things that you can't find. And I think for us, the fit in our defense, in the 34 defense, getting us bigger, I think you got a nice upside and got a chance to be a really good player for us. Charleston Fowler gives us a fullback who can also be a really good special teams player. Also probably do some other things with him, move him as a tight end and do some of those things. So it's a player we've always liked from the beginning, going back to during the season. I think the other thing he does is he can run the ball a little bit, and he's got good hands. And then David Cobb is our Senior Bowl player, and David's a back with size, feet, vision, very productive, ultra productive at Minnesota, and a great kid. So we're excited to have all 3 of them.
You guys were with Cobb at the Senior Bowl, and that's where you can make a pretty good judgment on guys. He impressed you that week, and that put him over the edge for you?
Sure. I mean, I feel like you got a little inside information on him. I mean, if you look at his tape, it's impressive, but knowing that he can protect, he was one of the better protecting backs down there in those one-on-one pass protection drills, that he's a good runner. He's a 3-down back, gives you another guy to put in that mix.
You also had some time with Fowler. He was on the other team.
Mm-hmm.
Did that kind of solidify what you thought about him going into it?
Yeah, we felt strongly going into it about him anyway. But yeah, the one thing you're able to do at the Senior Bowl is not only watch the other team, but we have one day where we swap. And so we get to spend time with their players. They get to spend time with ours.
Is Black's the guy that can bounce inside and out, or you see him just strictly?
He's a guy with his size and strength that can play inside at nose. In our defense, it's probably more of a 5 technique end, but he can do it, and it gives us some, allows Daquan Jones to play some nose too, so it's helpful.
You guys pick at the top of the 4th there. I mean, safe to assume you probably had a 3rd round grade on him.
No, we had a 4th round grade on.
Okay. How tough was that at the top of that round, deciding between guys that were left?
It's tough, it's really, honestly, it's tougher when you have 2 picks because you're working that to try to figure out, okay, who do I need to take where? And, usually you have some information one way or another that makes a decision for you. But that's always a tough one for me is when we have 2 picks and multiple players that we like and trying to figure out how to get them both.
Did you say it was a gamble? Did you win on the gamble?
Yeah, we did.
Is that a big enough role for the 108th pick in the draft?
If he starts at a 5, I think so. I think you're in the 4th round right now. You'd like to find starters in the first 3 rounds. You hope you find starters everywhere, but you want guys that can contribute and are going to have a jersey on and a helmet on Sunday. And with his ability to play special teams, helping the run game, helping the passing game, he's a guy that should have a helmet on Sunday. And that's, if you get that out of your 4th round pick, then you did pretty good.
You talking about Fowler?
Yeah.
Paul? Well, I mean, if you just look at the tape, you see him catching balls out of the backfield, lining up as a tight end, playing fullback, lined up in the backfield as a single back, running the football, also in protection. So, if he can, whatever those roles he can contribute will get him a lot of snaps on Sunday. So I think you like the flexibility of being able to block the edge as a tight end. You like the ability to be a lead back as a fullback. You can use him as a running the football, especially in that role sometimes to finish off games. So it's really going to be up to him what he can contribute, but he's shown from what you've seen at high level of football play a lot of roles.
Biggest thing too with all these guys, especially the non-linemen, is that they can contribute on special teams. That's the way they're going to get on the field, and he can do that, and he'll have to do that. But we thought he had the ability to be a solid special teams player for us, and so any of these guys that we draft from here on out, that's going to have to be part of their deal.
When you look at Cobb, I guess not necessarily the fastest guy in the world, but he always seemed to be productive. In the Senior Bowl, he always seemed to be getting positive yards. What were some of the how do you weigh that when you see like a guy who's a 4.8 but still seems to be very productive?
Well, and he didn't run 4.8, but he had a quad injury, and he ran with the quad injury, and that affected his time and probably affected, maybe even where he went in the draft. But I think that what he has is real good vision, feet, and a real natural runner. Plus he's got size and can break tackles and run after contact, and those are big things. And you'd like for him to run a little faster, but that's probably why we're picking him right now.
Can you talk about your, I guess, opinion of Bishop Sankey after 1 year and how these two guys should work together to kind of carry the load in 2015?
Well, I mean, I think Bishop has got to play a little better than he did last year from a standpoint of assignment-wise, and he's been in here working very hard. I have no doubt that missing the spring last year hurt him. And, that's one of the things that we look at now about guys when we get to this point of even draft-wise, if they're going to be here for the spring practices, for the OTAs. So I think Bishop will be better. He understands his role better. There were some things that he did well and some things he didn't do as well. But as far as how the carries split or how that goes, the thing you like about both of these guys is that they're 3-down backs, so you don't have to rotate as much. Maybe you can get them in there and get a little bit more of a feel for those guys. Maybe rotate them or maybe get them, spell them by when they need a break now.
And the run game obviously need to be more effective moving forward, especially with the young quarterback, to take pressure off of him. I mean, that's got to be one of the emphasis, I guess, going into the year.
Sure, but I mean, having a quarterback that's as mobile as Marcus will help with the run game too, because if you look at some of the teams like Seattle, for instance, that is one of the more productive rushing teams in the league, they get a lot of their yardage from their quarterback runs. So not that we're going to run Marcus all the time, but that all helps with the package. But yeah, we do have to be more productive in the run game, and we feel like Bishop will have a better year this year. He knows that our expectations on that, and we certainly feel like Cobb can come in here and compete.
Both the fourth rounders seemed a little surprised that they went as early as they did. Does that say something to you?
Not really. I mean, I've been through a bunch of these, and I think you're dealing with pretty humble kids that, that's just kind of the way they are. The big thing for us is just the fit for what we're doing, and you look at the board and you go, well, if we don't get, there is no other, 6'5", 315-pound, 4'9" type of defensive lineman left. So, you make decisions to take guys, and I think probably had we not taken him, he would have gotten taken.
Ken, it sounds as if Sylvester Croom's a pretty big proponent of Fowler. Was that the case? Was he a big supporter of Fowler?
Yeah, he was. But, obviously I think he has a little bit of inside connections as far as background and some of the traits that are important for that position, toughness, his how smart he is, leadership ability, those kind of things, because of his connections with the university. So, that all, but ultimately it comes down to what they do on the tape. That's a big part of it too. And when you see him play, he does a lot of good things.